Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host of the Racing for the Climate broadcast show, Nicki Shields.
Well, hello, and a very special welcome to a new episode of Racing for the Climate. My name is Nicki Shields, and I've got to say I'm rather proud of being host of this show because you get a double dose. You get virtual electric racing and also all the latest news about sustainability. So for me, it combines the two things that I love. And of course, the RCCO World EX Championship is the esports racing series for electric prototypes. And I think what's important is that this series really wants to prove that cars with zero emission are fun to drive and very entertaining to watch. And there is no less than 1,000 brake horsepower in the car that we drive in this series. Oh yes, that is fun. We'd also love to hear from you if you maybe you drive an electric car, or maybe you're thinking about making that switch to an electric car. Let us know on social media in the comments what you think of your electric car, if you've made that transition, or what is sort of maybe causing concerns, or what's getting you excited about making the switch. I've got to say, I drive an electric car. I made the switch and I have no regrets. I have never looked back. I absolutely love nipping around town in a little electric car. Now, the RCCO also wants to reduce its carbon footprint to an absolute minimum. We can do as much as possible to reduce it. So hence why I'm here at home in my virtual studio. Yes, I am in my spare bedroom, but you would never know, right? And also the rest of the team are dotted around the world. Of course, all the drivers are racing from their simulators, their rigs at home, and our production team are also somewhere in Europe, all dotted around. Now, today is round 4 of the World EX, but as well as that, it's also a bit of a premiere. Because for the very first time, we're actually racing on a city street circuit, a bit like we see in Formula E, of course, the electric street racing circuit. But this is a track that doesn't actually exist in reality. It has just been built virtually in the streets of Maastricht. And we will give you a few more details on that incredible looking track a little bit later. But first, it is time to have a brief look at what happened in the first 3 rounds of World EX.
Lasse Sørensen from Denmark was the star of the first 2 rounds of the new RCCO World EX Championship. The real-world pro racing driver was able to defeat esports racer Guerlain in a tight super final at Silverstone. Sørensen had a better start and was able to keep Simoncic behind for the rest of the lap. Things were a little bit more complicated at Sebring, where the TK9 e-speed driver produced a jump start in his qualifying race. This meant he had to go through the last chance race. Starting from the back of the grid, Sørensen kept calm, gained the necessary positions, and finally made it into the super final yet again. This time, Sørensen stayed close to pole sitter Alain Terzic from BS Plus competition and attacked him in the last corner. A slight touch at the rear was enough to unsettle Terzic a little bit, and Sørensen took his second victory in a row. Sørensen was fast also at Sepang, but made an unusual mistake when he went off on his own while leading the Pro Racers semi-final. The bizarre reason: the 150-meter marker before turn 4 had disappeared following an incident on the previous lap. As usual, Sørensen braked at the first board, but this was the 100-meter marker and thus 50 meters too late. US boy Philippe Dennis from BS Plus competition took the present and went on to score the first victory for the Zebras in World EX. This means the pro racing drivers are undefeated in World EX after round 3, and the esports racers will definitely try to change this today in Maastricht. With their victories, Sørensen and Dennis are both qualified for the Champions Race on the Nürburgring Nordschleife in November, while Alain Terzic is the best-placed esports racer in position 3 of the overall standings. Tom Christensen's TK9 e-Speed leads the team's World Championship, courtesy of Sørensen's 2 wins.
I do love that car. I mean, it's unbelievably quick, isn't it? But let's remind ourselves of one of the reasons that we are competing in this championship. And every lap that is completed in the RCCO World EX Championship actually contributes to the Racing for the Climate jackpots. Now, this is obviously going to be building up over the course of the championship. And actually, Lasse Sorensen and Philip Dennis can already start to think about which climate conservation project they would like to support, because of course both have actually already qualified for the Champions race. So it's going to be really interesting to see what conservation project they want to support. Now, unfortunately, Philippe is not actually racing today, but that's because he's the reserve driver for Beitske Visser, which means we are very lucky because Beitske is back. She is back behind the wheel of her EX0 today for her home race, of course. So I'm sure she's going to be excited to be on this particular track. We're very happy to have her back. And actually, we're very lucky. We're going to be speaking to her a little bit later on in the show. So don't go anywhere. Hear from Beitske Visser and we can find out what she's been up to, what's been keeping her busy so far this year. But now it's time to catch up with all the latest news from World EX.
Beitske Visser is back at the wheel of her Zebra, this time in Maastricht, after missing the last 2 rounds. The level 1 pairings have been decided by R8G Esports this time, who got the most votes on Twitter, and they've put Beitske against Frank Bieler, something we already saw in the opening round at Silverstone, and which made Frankie sweat a little bit.
No chance.
Luca Kita is usually the youngest driver on the World EX grid, but today, one of the 2 wildcard drivers is even younger. 16-year-old German Lennard Rau is racing for NR Esports. WRT keeps impressing in their first LMP season. After winning the opening round of the European Le Mans Series in Barcelona, they repeated their victory at the Red Bull Ring. Romain Grosjean will be replaced by Scottish racer Gordon Mutch today. The R8G Esports founder recently scored his first podium in the IndyCar Series in just his 3rd race. Despite his US adventure, Romain keeps following what's happening in World EX.
Hey guys, Romain here, and I'm sorry I'm not competing today at the World EX, but wishing everyone good luck. I've been following the races, it's quite exciting. And obviously, I will be rooting for R8G Esports, but I've enjoyed a lot of the competition. I wish you good luck in Maastricht. It looks like an amazing track, and hopefully I can jump back in soon.
Axel Sports from Malaysia is back on the grid of World EX. After father Alex Young competed at Sepang, this time it's the turn of his son Alistair. The team's second EX0 will be driven by Josh Purwine from Australia. Guest driver Ralph Piringer and defending champion Mikael Niemas scored victories in round 5 of the RCCO Esports Series at the Nürburgring last week. On June the 7th, the World EX Feeder Series heads to the famous Nürburgring Nordschleife, where a 2-lap sprint will decide the championship.
So lucky for us, Beitske Visser is back in the World EX Championship, and with her, alongside her, we're very lucky because there's another local hero that's going to be joining her, Robin Frijns, who's actually currently leading the Formula E World Championship, the all-electric racing series. Now, both of these drivers are from the Netherlands. Robin's actually even born in Maastricht.
So maybe Beitske, we start with you quickly. You've missed the last 2 rounds in World EX because you've been quite busy in the real world. What have you been doing last couple of weeks?
I've had the first race of the WEC already in Spa, and I've been testing with the W Series as well.
Okay, and Robin, to you, first of all, congratulations. You're leading the Formula E World Championship after a thrilling race in Monaco. This sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a bit of a surprise actually. Didn't win a race yet, and still I'm leading, so see that the field is very bunched up together. 2 podiums, and consistency is key, especially in Formula E, but it's very difficult to be consistent in Formula E.
I think for some people it was quite surprising to see so many overtakings in Monaco, which is not possible in Formula 1, as we have seen last week. Why is overtaking so much easier in Formula E? What do you think?
I think overtaking is never really easy, but we have this a coasting phase and regenning phase. Also, we have the difference of power. We have like a 2 minutes, or most of the time it's 2 minutes more power during the lap. Also, you losing around 2 seconds, or maybe a few places if you go over attack mode. So you need to gain that places back with more power. So it creates a bit of a strategic way, and also, yeah, some overtaking maneuvers as well. So it's good fun.
You have already raced on the virtual track in Maastricht before. Is overtaking possible on this track?
There's a lot of long straights. I think the slipstream plays a big role. The walls are quite close to each other, so yeah, staying out of the walls is one thing, and yeah, hopefully we have a good race on the track.
Beitske, you have been quite quick in testing on Maastricht, and you know the track as well, obviously. What can the viewers expect today?
Yes, there's quite some long straights, so tried already before, but the slipstream is pretty big. So I don't know if all the drivers want to be first after turn 1, but yeah, staying out of the wall is also quite a challenge.
Robin, you have been quick last year in Race Home, and it was on the PlayStation. What can we expect from you today? You had some struggles, we learned, in the days coming to this event.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff throwing at me for the last 2 days. First, my PC died because the motherboard died, so I took another PC. Then the steering wheel also didn't work, so I have another steering wheel, but that doesn't work either. So I still don't have force feedback, which makes it very difficult to drive, but I do my best. Hopefully I don't hit anyone else, just only the walls this time, but yeah, I can do the best job I can do, and then see where we end up.
We have learned you opened own business, I think in Lanaken, so in your home place. What is
Yeah.
Frijns Unlimited doing?
We basically it's based on detailing and car wraps, but it's more, yeah, generally speaking, everything is basically possible. So we also do interior changes, customizing cars from inside and outside. So I would say that my target or our goal would be that, yeah, nothing is really impossible for a customer to have on their cars inside and out.
Beitske, World EX is also about sustainable and creating awareness for the fight against the climate crisis. What are you doing on this behalf in your personal life?
Well, you see more and more things changing now, so yeah, I mean, the main thing we can do is like split the garbage, and yeah, I don't have an electric car yet, but yeah, you just try to do more things.
Robin, there are more and more electric cars, I think, in the Netherlands. It's quite popular. Do you think they become even more popular with your success in Formula E?
I try my best to sell more electric cars. Yeah, I think now Formula E it's season 7 now, and showing basically the world that yeah, electric cars can be entertaining to watch and to drive. So I think that's what's also pushing, yeah, the people forward of buying electric car instead of a normal car, let's say.
So, to round up the interview, there's a little message for you from a good old friend, Robin. Maybe you recognize him.
Hey Robin, great to see you race in World EX. Quite incredibly, you managed to do so before I can do it personally by myself. But luckily my Nyanko team members will be there. So please do me a little favor and stay away from them. But enjoy racing at your home track. I think Maastricht, your hometown, will be quite special to get to race there. Enjoy it, and I hope it will not be the last time, and maybe we can fight it out on track sometime soon. Would be a pleasure. So yeah, have fun and deliver a good show.
Nico.
You have good contact with him still?
Yeah, still. This is one of the most fun I had in racing in the last 3 years with DTM, sharing the Abt team with him. Yeah, I mean, we knew each other before, but yeah, never really on a personal side. But yeah, we really basically grew together as good teams and good friends, and even went on holiday together and everything. So yeah, it was good fun.
Brilliant. There you go. Good luck message from Nico Muller. What a way to start the day. But we will let you get on because I know you've got to focus ahead of today's race. Huge good luck for today in the race, and of course your future projects as well, and future racing over the course of this season. Now, as you guys know, we are racing virtually in the Netherlands today. A beautiful, beautiful place. A country, of course, famous for its cheese, its windmills, its bicycles,
It sounds idyllic. I wish I could go there now. But we'll just have to have a little bit of a taster of it in the virtual world. Let's find out more about our host country. Amsterdam, of course, is the capital of the Netherlands, and our racetrack in Maastricht is right in the south of the country, close to the Belgian border, and also not too far away from Germany. It's a medium-sized country with a population of about 17.5 million, and we know a lot of them are passionate racing fans. It has a relatively strong impact on the worldwide economy, and the country is very active in its fight against the climate crisis. The government is continually investing in more sustainability and has set clear goals for its future. The Netherlands are also quite active in the development of hydrogen mobility and also in motorsports. And our host town, Maastricht, has some interesting ideas to create a greener infrastructure for their local traffic. Now, also, I've got to add that Maastricht is, of course, the oldest city in the Netherlands, so a place really steeped in history. Also, the European Union was founded there in 1992. But, of course, today it is a vibrant city. It's a modern university city, and it's also going to be today's virtual street racing circuit, which was created by Andy Masson from Sim Formula, and is definitely one of the most challenging on the calendar. Having had a quick look, it's definitely going to keep our drivers on their toes, that's for sure. But let's hear from our co-founder of World EX, Mike Rockenfeller, and find out what he thinks of the track.
Today we are in Maastricht, a very cool city in the Netherlands, and the fourth round of our World EX Championship. It's super unique to race here, very special track because it's not existing in reality, but obviously the roads and the city is, and we have this great chance to race here with 1,000 horsepower, and this is what I'm going to show you now, how it looks on board. We are on start finish. You know, it's a really wide straightaway. We are heading to corner 1. Late braking is important. Near corner 1, close to the wall, good exit. And now we are in the first tunnel. A long flat out section. You can relax a bit. I'm sure in the racing, you know, maneuvers here, it will be quite tight and there will be quite some action. Now we are exiting the tunnel back to daylight. Here you arrive so fast, you have to be careful to adapt your speed again to this long left-hand corner. Now there's another one following wide entrance, but then quite a tight exit. This is a really nice section here as well, flat out, almost lost the car there. And again, a bit of breathing. We are doing 340 right now. Late braking is important here. That's a very unique corner, I would say. It's long and tight. And then it opens up slightly here and tight again. And then a good exit because here it's flat again, flat out. Whew. And then we go through the next tunnel. It's quite a challenging track, I tell you. Now up the hill blind, this entrance here very fast, then it tightens up a bit. This one here, also a very nice corner. This is the last part of the track, underneath the bridge. A bit too slow here. Second to last corner. Important here to get a good exit. Here it's super tight, you think you're on the pit lane, but actually on the racetrack. And here we are back on start finish, and that was a lap in Maastricht. Have fun tonight and enjoy the racing.
Now, those of you that have got a keen eye, if you happen to have watched the first 3 rounds of World EX, you might have noticed one small change. Now, because of the length of the track, the race distance for level 2, 3, 4 and 5 has actually been reduced from the usual 3 laps to just 2 laps. Level 1, however, is unchanged. It will be 1 lap only for the 20 drivers in 10 head-to-head races. And, well, I think that really puts the pressure on, doesn't it, when you've got 1 lap to perform. But now it's time to say hello to our race action commentator. It is, of course, Dave Richardson.
This is level 1, the qualifying. Making his debut in the World EX Championship, welcome Gordon Mutch in for Romain Grosjean for RCCO Esports, and he's up against Gabby Chavez in Q1. So on the Maastricht street circuit then, designed by Andy Marsen, here we go into Q1 in this World EX Championship round on the street circuit of Maastricht with Mutch ahead of Chavez. Oh dear!
It's my brake bias.
Yeah, come on, it's not over yet. There's a lot of slipstream, so go for it.
A big encouragement there from Mike Rockenfeller then for Gabby Chavez, who's now got to put his foot down and try and catch up with Gordon Mutch and take advantage of the slipstream that can be had on this Maastricht circuit. I love this tunnel. Absolutely fantastic, evocative racing in the World EX Championship. Boy, it looks close and tight in there. So Gordon Mutch then leads Gabby Chavez P1 and P2 in this first level 1 qualifying race. So leaning on your years of experience, Mike Rockenfeller, what words of wisdom can you conjure up to encourage Gabby Chavez to get on the back of the driver from Lockerbie in Scotland?
I mean, maybe you need to talk to him, you know, to make him nervous.
He's gone.
Yeah, still, you know, some trash talking will help, so use the opportunity.
Yes, some psychology. Try and out-psych him. Now, this part of the track is extraordinary because it is seemingly a non-stop right-hander, which just never seems to end. This Maastricht circuit really is a challenge for our drivers.
Not an easy track, is it? It's quite technical.
It is, yeah. Feels like you're absolutely on the limit the entire time because the walls are just so close.
So narrow, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
And you haven't got much runoff area at any point either.
You don't. It's very claustrophobic, I think that's a good word for it.
And of course those walls won't give.
Anyway, use the opportunity, you know, for some practice for the
Very
next round.
good point.
Gonna be
I rather think, though, that you've admitted defeat, Gabby.
He's gone. I never had a chance. Oh my gosh.
So on his World EX Championship debut, Gordon Mutch for RAG Esports takes P1 and Patrick Long Esports, Gabby Chavez is P2. Q2 gives us an esports clash of the titans with Alain Terzic for BS Plus competition. You'll recall he lost P1 on the last corner of the super final in Sebring after that loving kiss from Lasse Sorensen. He's up against Martin Stefanko from Williams Esports. The extraordinary power of the EX0 is unleashed in Q2, and you've got a long bit of tarmac to use it all before the first corner here in Maastricht. But of course it is absolutely critical to break into the corner break.
Martin.
Oh, I missed my breaking point completely.
Oh no.
Oh, I feel bad for you, honestly.
No, this was my fault. This was not.
Yeah, I know, but
It's tough, huh? To have this one lap and all the pressure in a way. It's not like you can warm up a lot.
No, so I guess you have to improvise.
yeah, it's a lot of improvising.
Yeah.
There we have it.
Anyway, you have another chance.
And that in replay.
Now it's an easy one for Alan to bring it home. Shouldn't be too difficult, huh, Alan?
No mistakes, Alan. Keep it going.
Yeah, the walls are pretty stiff, so
Yeah, that is true. But I think you have a good margin.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna break at the 150, and I looked and I was at the 100 already. I'm like, oh god, oh god.
Yeah, it looked like that. I mean, almost like a failure.
That, of course, is a mistake that Lasse Sorensen has made in the past.
Would you say this is the hardest track that you've come up against in the World EX Championship so far?
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is such a challenging track. On board with Alan Terzic then on this seemingly never-ending right-hander. Before this left-hander taken absolutely flat out in these EX0 cars. And then accelerate, 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 and building up such power, and then into the tunnel where the walls seemingly close in upon you. Absolutely extraordinary. And you can see the back end of the car just stepping out there. And so easy to make contact with the barriers here, which really do not forgive, and our camera being shaken as the panel work of the car rattles against it. Absolutely awesome. Into the right-hander then. Alan Terzic then with such a margin over Martin Stefanko.
Congrats.
GG.
A brilliant victory in Q2.
I gained quite a bit of time in there.
Hold on to your hats, here comes Q3. Dries Van Tor for WRT up against Lasse Sorensen for TK9 eSpeed. Let's go racing!
I think I had a small jump start there, but luckily I don't think the game saw it.
That's good.
That's being very honest, I have to say. So, Lasse Sorensen and Dries Van Tor side by side into turn number 1.
I went again sideways, like last time.
How is it compared to your normal street car here? It's the same speed?
Yeah, I'm almost topping out at 400 normally, but...
Yeah, so only 250 here. Should be easy for you.
Yeah.
Just look at the benefit he's getting off of the slipstream, which everyone said was going to be such a crucial factor here in Maastricht. Absolutely brilliant. We're on board with Lasse Sorensen. It's Dries Van Tor that's leading in this Q3 race. And they are so close together. It can go either way yet, even though it's a one-lap dash for cash, for want of a better expression. You've got to make it count in these very short and sharp qualifying races. Dries Van Tor P1, Sorensen currently P2.
It's massive slipstream.
Yeah, this tow is insane.
So the slipstream then, as now Lasse Sorensen gets his nose ahead.
Oh shit.
Oh! Sorry.
Forgive the colourful language, but these two are fighting for absolutely everything on this super smooth Maastricht tarmac then. P1 Dries Van Tor, P2 Lasse Sorensen, but there is genuinely nothing in it between these two. They could not be closer together there. The benefit of the slipstream as Lasse Sorensen goes through to pick up P1 Dries Van Tor fighting back. What a brilliant contest between these two. Van Tor, Sorensen, Sorensen, Van Tor. Which way is it going to end? Well, Dries Van Tor has got his nose in front for the moment. And there are but a few hundred meters to be done. And Lasse Sorensen has not given up on this. Who will it be as they run to the line? Sorensen then with a brilliant move on the inside. He tries to control the back end as Dries Van Tor now pushes him. But by literally centimeters, it's Lasse Sorensen. We expect a hotly contested Q4 race between the two esports drivers, Mickey Hoyer for Absolute Racing, up against Liam Duvall for Patrick Long Esports, where of course Liam has got home advantage. This is a local race for him, and will he be able to use it to his benefit? The power is unleashed, and it is a drag race all the way to turn 1, and it is quite a long way. We're on board with Liam Duvall. Mickey Hoyer just got his nose in front then as you build so much speed up before braking for this turn 1. You could just see that the back end of the Mickey Hoyer car looked a bit loose, but he controlled it perfectly. Now we're into the tunnel. Now this is where you can make a slipstream work, so Liam Duvall could get a benefit here off the back of the Mickey Hoyer car. He pulls out of the stream and goes right alongside him and takes the lead. It is P1 now for the local boy, Liam Duvall, ahead of Mickey Hoyer, P2, but Mickey Hoyer is fighting back now and tries as they run uphill, first right, then left. But he's not able to get close enough to Liam Duvall to be able to put a move on, and In fairness, at parts of this track, it looks like there's not room to overtake. Actually, there is, but there is a very unforgiving Armco or concrete wall which surrounds this street circuit in Maastricht. Running downhill now, Liam de Waal P1. He's got about 4/10 over Mickey Hoyer. What a roller coaster this is!
Oh, God.
But 4/10 becomes 2/10, and here comes Hoyer to the outside, but it's a real squeeze, and he makes contact with the barriers. There's almost no room.
That is so narrow. Too wide at the most narrow point in the track.
A fantastic track this is, but Liam de Waal, through it all,
That's butt clenching.
manages to hold on to that P1 place, but Hoyer is far from giving up on this extraordinary Q race. Here he comes again, up the hill, through the tunnel, exiting the tunnel, but Liam de Waal just ahead, and Liam de Waal holding on to it around the outside. Extraordinary driving from both of these drivers. For my money, this has perhaps been the Q race of them all so far in this round of the RCCO World EX Championship. Who will it be to the line? You wouldn't want to bet against either, but it is going to be Liam de Waal.
Oh my God, that was a good battle, man.
Yep.
It's a warm welcome back to the World EX Championship for Beitske Visser, who's up against the legendary Frank Biela. Beitske to the right, Frank to the left, and Beitske gets a superb start, and Frank Biela pulls in immediately behind Beitske Visser to try and get a benefit from a tow from the back of the number 89 car. As they head into turn number 1, quite cautious if I may say so for both drivers, but now Biela fights back once again. Will he use the slipstream enabled through this tunnel here in Maastricht to be able to pull alongside Beitske Visser, who sticks her elbows out? But Frank Biela and Beitske Visser are side by side, and Biela goes ahead. But only for a moment, because here comes Beitske Visser, who's going to try back. And if I'm honest with you, Frank is doing a better job of making that car twice as wide as it really is to prevent Beitske Visser from coming through. But she's a wily young racer. So Frank, using all the years of experience he has to defend to the best of his ability against the young but incredibly talented Beitske Visser, who we're delighted is back on the World EX Championship stage. And here she is, getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Frank tries to make it wide enough, but Beitske Visser surely has done enough to go through. Brilliant overtake from Beitske Visser then, who now leads Frank Biela. And of course, coming from the Netherlands, she probably knows every single centimetre of tarmac here in Maastricht. But Frankie Biela has certainly not given up on this. He's only 5/10 behind, and they're going to head into the second tunnel shortly. And that is where the slipstream could work again for Frankie Biela. Now Beitske will position the car right in the middle of the circuit, which indeed she does. That makes Frankie Biela have to go the long way around the outside, and I fear he will have lost the speed advantage that he had momentarily. So Beitske Visser has probably done enough to secure victory in this Level 1 Q race as Frank Biela piles on the opposite lock, tries to get to the inside. But Beitske Visser has done enough, and it is going to be Beitske Visser that is victorious over Frankie Biela. For Axel Esports, the team of Alex Young, we welcome Josh Purvine, and he is up against Risto Capit for RAG Esports in this Level 1 Q6 race on the streets of Maastricht, about to get underway. Risto, of course, is a stocks investor in terms of renewable energy, and Josh Purvine is a bank concierge. So I need to be polite about both of them. At the moment, it is Josh Purvine who is leading Risto Capit into the first turn. Then Josh Purvine, the back end of the car, stepping out. Risto Capit tries to take advantage, but he's not quite close enough. Through the tunnel they go, and it is Josh Purvine, P1. Risto Capit, P2, but here comes the slipstream effect. Oh, there's only just room side by side as Risto Capit goes through to pick up that P1 place. And of course we know that once Risto has got his nose in front, he's very difficult to dislodge, but Josh Purvine is doing a fantastic job of staying with him here. So this is far from over yet. As they make their way around the left-hander, a little bit of understeer from Josh Purvine, who makes contact with the Armco barriers. Now, I think that's affected the handling because it looks like he's got even more understeer now. So perhaps there is damage.
So you hit the wall, did you get damage?
Ah.
No.
And that's very nice of Risto to actually inquire of that. So Josh then, he has slipped back a couple of tenths, and I wonder whether in fact he has got some damage, even though he has said to Risto that he hasn't. So around this right-hander then that goes on and on and on. It's P1 for Risto Capit, P2 for Josh Purvine. Oh, Risto makes contact with the barriers now.
It was all part of your master plan.
Brilliant camaraderie between these two uber competitive drivers. Here comes Purvine. He used that slipstream perfectly, but Risto Capit comes back on the inside. Again they go, panel to panel between the two of them. Capit again makes contact.
Now I have damage.
And yes, damage on both of the cars. Who can manage it best, though, as they head towards the timing line? Couple of turns to do, an uphill section as Purvine fights back.
My ribs.
In the end, Risto Capit takes the win, but Purvine certainly pushed him all the way. In this level 1Q race, it is Yiffy Yi up against Bruno Senna. And Bruno, you realise just how successful Yiffy Yi is being in real-world racing with WRT.
Yiffy's ripping it up at the LMS as well, so guy's got some practice. Good luck, mate.
Good luck.
Nice.
Bruno Senna then for Williams Esports, Yiffy Yi for Absolute Racing as we're away and racing with Bruno Senna just nudging ahead. Yiffy Yi, will he tuck in behind and try and get advantage of the slipstream coming off the back of the Bruno Senna car? Now Yiffy Yi does pull alongside, but Bruno is first into the right-hander and stays in P1.
That was clean. That was nice.
Experience.
Exactly, the pros.
Both these guys, brilliant drivers.
Keep it like that.
And of course, we want to keep it neat and tidy as Yiffy Yi now pulls ahead of Bruno Senna. Brilliant.
That slipstream is very, very strong, man.
And seems to be even more pronounced in the tunnels that we experience here on the Maastricht circuit. So, Yiffy Yi leading Bruno Senna in this Pro Level 1Q race. There are but 3 tenths between the two of them, though, and this race is not over until the checkered flag has come out. But it is Yiffy Yi P1, Bruno Senna P2 at the Mo.
See, there it is.
And Bruno doing everything he can to really unsettle Yiffy Yi. Here he comes again. He's getting closer, increasing his speed. Pulls right alongside now. Has he done it?
Sorry.
No problem.
Bit of a touch between the two of them.
Got a bit of force feedback pushing me on a little bit.
And as ever, the gentleman in apology.
Very polite, very sportsmanly.
I'm not one to squeeze too much on the brakes. I don't like it when it's done with me, so...
Here we go then, as we head towards the next tunnel here on the Maastricht Street Circuit. Another great opportunity, perhaps, for Bruno Senna.
Another good opportunity.
And a perfect execution.
It's like you've got a driver coach alongside you guys. The others didn't get this.
Just enjoying to watch. That's a really cool battle so far.
Mike smiling as much as we are watching these brilliant Level 1Q races that are going on. And at the moment, in this one, it is Bruno Senna leading Yiffy Yi, but it's not all over yet. Yiffy Yi is certainly within striking distance of Bruno Senna as they will head towards the line.
Yes.
Good job.
However, Bruno has done enough and goes through. The one-lap Level 1 qualifying races continue. This time, esports stars Fabrice Cornelis for esports team WRT is up against Andreas Jochimsen from TK9 eSpeed. And all systems go. We are away and racing. Andreas Jochimsen, Fabrice Cornelis. And the WRT driver then has got the inside line heading towards the turn 1, but we are some distance from that where you build up so much speed. Andreas Jochimsen then able to close the door on Fabrice Cornelis. A brilliant overtake from the outside. Andreas Jochumsen then, perhaps it's fair to say, so often in the shadow of his teammate Lasse Sorensen, but here comes Fabrice Cornelis fighting back with the slipstream advantage. Through the tunnel, Fabrice Cornelis now to the outside of Andreas Jochumsen. They are absolutely side by side with not a millimetre between the two of them. And the right then left, and Andreas Jochumsen stays ahead. But here comes Fabrice Cornelis heading up towards the bridge now. They slow the cars then. And the TK9 E-Speed driver ahead of Fabrice Cornelis, but literally just 2-3 tenths between the two of them, which means still plenty of opportunity for Fabrice Cornelis. And this could be one of them as he gets closer, closer, closer. Jochumsen tries to move the car across, but Fabrice Cornelis was able to get alongside and just put his nose in front. But now Andreas Jochumsen, through this long right-hander, which goes on and on and on, is able to put his car back ahead of Fabrice Cornelis. So it is Jochumsen ahead of Cornelis. It remains that way. TK9 E-Speed beating WRT currently into the second tunnel then, and again the slipstream effect playing into the hands of Fabrice Cornelis like a slingshot past Andreas Jochumsen. And now what he needs to do is, of course, close the door, but Andreas Jochumsen is coming back here. He clatters against the Armco. Fabrice Cornelis remains in P1. Andreas Jochumsen is P2. Final sequence of turns then to close out the lap here on the Maastricht Street Circuit. And Fabrice Cornelis has done enough. He will go through.
All right, good race, man.
Yeah, you too.
Well done, guys. Alistair Young was so keen to have a go in World EX after his father had a wildcard entry in Sepang, and he's up against Patrick Niederhauser. The two pro drivers then for Axel Sports and Nianco Esports. A very good start from Alex Young then, seeing off Patrick Niederhauser, who seemed to bog down just a little bit at the start. But of course, with this long straight into turn number one, the right-hander, this is where Patrick Niederhauser perhaps will get some benefit. Well, he's been benefited by Alistair Young making contact with the barriers. So Patrick Niederhauser then gifted the lead in this level one qualifying race between these two pro stars. And it is Patrick Niederhauser from Alistair Young. Through the tunnel then we go on board, and this provides just a good example of how tight it is in these tunnels and the advantage that you can get from the slipstream if you're close enough to the car in front, which quite clearly Patrick Niederhauser is out on his own, and so too now is Alistair Young, although Alistair is some distance down on Patrick Niederhauser, and it is something like 4.5 seconds. So Patrick, to my knowledge, this is his second event with the World EX Championship, where of course Alistair is making his debut here at the Maastricht Street Circuit. So don't be too hard on yourself, friend.
Oh crap, good competition for the next round.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had barely any chance against Patrick, I think.
It's not really my golden sim racing, but
yeah, these cars are pretty tough, huh?
it just need a lot of practice. At least I do.
Yeah, same.
I can't just jump in and be quick. I really need a lot of first. And I'm still missing something.
Well, those drivers that don't make it through level one do get another chance in the last chance.
Oh, I get to race my teammate next, I think. It's going to be fun.
Level two, of course, of the RCCO World EX Championship. So, up the hill goes Alistair Young. And now into this, what is almost a chicane, I'm inclined to say, where it's very easy to make contact with the barriers. And I think Alistair Young managed to keep it out of the barriers. But Patrick Niederhauser for the Nianco Esports team then will have a relatively unchallenged run to the line. Up the slip road he goes to rejoin the main carriageway here in Maastricht. And sure enough, Patrick Niederhauser does go through.
Oh, well.
And we will see Alistair again in level two.
Oh.
Ordinarily, Luca Kita for the Biela Racing Team Euronics is the youngest driver in the RCCO World EX Championship. This time he's been trounced by Lennard Rau, who is even younger. And Luca Kita is up against, in this level 1 Q race, Thomas Schmidt for Nianco Esports. The phenomenal EX0 cars are released from the line then, and it is Luca Kita who's just got his nose in front of Thomas Schmidt as they head towards turn number 1. Schmidt pulls alongside, but Luca Kita with the inside line. So for Biela Racing Team Euronics, it is Luca Kita leading, but now here comes the first opportunity to really use that slipstream, and that's precisely what Thomas Schmidt is doing. He gets right alongside Luca Kita through the tunnel. This is oh so close.
Interesting, huh?
It's more than interesting, it's absolutely compelling. They are side by side with nothing between each of them. And he does go through. Brilliant from Thomas Schmidt. He used absolutely everything that he'd got, plus some more, being advantaged by that slipstream. But he spent a long time alongside Luca Kita. But Thomas Schmidt has made it stick, so he is now ahead of Luca Kita in this brilliant esports level 1 race that we are seeing between the two of them. Really close between them as well, and Luca Kita now getting closer, building speed uphill, but there is a turn awaiting, and Thomas Schmidt stays ahead of Luca Kita on this long, winding right-hander, where you pile on the steering lock and keep on turning right and right and right, and Luca Kita is right on Thomas Schmidt.
You're too close.
You've got to be close.
Let's see.
Which way are you gonna go now?
I go right.
Okay, let's see if it can work. Through the tunnel, on board the number 11 car of Luca Kita, as again they go absolutely side by side. This is not all over. Through this chicane.
Oh dear.
Oh. And that unfortunately leaves Thomas Schmidt stricken.
Yeah, just a small contact. It's racing, I think.
Across the track, I think you're right, to be honest. And that means that Luca Kita now, as he runs up the slip road and onto the main carriageway here in Maastricht, has an easy run to go through to the next round. And here's confirmation of those drivers that go straight through to level 3. Alain Terzic, Liam Deval, Risto Capet, Fabrice Cornelis and Luca Kita. The others will have to go through level 2. Those are the esports drivers. Our pro drivers going through: Gordon Mutsch, Lasse Sorensen, Beitske Visser, Bruno Senna and Patrick Niederhauser, with once again the others having to do it through level 2.
Well, there we have it. Level 1 completed in Maastricht. What a result. And of course, those 10 winners out of the 20 drivers will proceed directly into level 2. So congratulations to those drivers. Now, what happens next? The 10 defeated drivers, it's not over yet. No, don't worry. They have a second chance. They have a second chance in level 2, where they will be joined by our 2 wildcard drivers. Let's take a look.
The 2 wildcard drivers for the 4th World EX round in Maastricht are the local boy Robin Frijns and German youngster Lennard Rau. Robin Frijns was born and raised in Maastricht and knows every inch of the city. Now he will be competing on the virtual streets of his hometown. The Dutchman has made a name for himself in motorsport with his spectacular driving style and worthwhile overtaking. In his career, Frijns competed in different racing series like the DTM, Blancpain GT Series and the 24-hour endurance classics of the Nürburgring and Spa-Francorchamps. Since 2018, he is part of the British team Envision Virgin Racing in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship and is currently leading the Drivers' Championship. He is also no stranger to the world of RCCO. Last year, Frijns and his Audi DTM teammates competed in the #RaceHome competition. Level 2, the last chance. Welcome to Level 2, where on Row 1 we find our wildcard drivers Robin Frijns and the youngest driver in the World EX Championship, Lennard Rau. Row 2 features Frank Biela and Josh Purvine trying to go through in this last chance. Dries Van Tor and Miki Hoyer are on the 3rd row of the grid, and then to the 4th row of the grid we go now, where we find Yifi Yi and Andreas Jochimsen. On the 5th row of the grid, and therefore P9 and P10, it's Gabi Chavez and Martin Stefanko. And bringing up the rear on row 6 of the grid, hoping to go through, Alistair Young and Thomas Schmidt. A deep breath in, guys. Here it comes. This is going to be either a fight or a survival of the fittest of these drivers?
Oh my god.
Let's go racing.
Oh no.
Already,
Guys.
there is plenty of panel rubbing between them.
Easy. Oh dear.
Oh, someone's drifting.
However, you will be
Oh, so much damage.
as amazed as I am. Robin Frijns is leading.
Robin, are you still leading?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Not anymore now.
Okay.
I'm stuck behind these two who like blocking the straight.
That was a huge pile up out of turn 1.
The moving roadblock that is Frank Beeler and Robin Frijns then, with Frank Beeler with his nose in front now. Robin Frijns P2, and of course, as we heard there, Josh Purvine trying to get the better of both of them. They go side by side once again. Robin Frijns with the inside line. Surely Robin is going to be able to take the lead away from Frank Beeler. Yes, he does.
I think I just got to hit my car on the other side now to get the steering wheel back straight.
That's one solution.
Okay, so I got
That's what I do.
I got the cube once again.
Oh, this is utterly brilliant stuff.
Oh, man.
So, Frijns from Beeler.
Bumping and banging here on in front of me.
I'm sorry to say, we absolutely love the bumping and the banging. Right, it's Frijns from Beeler, from Purvine, from Andreas Jochimsen, who's currently P4, then it's Dries Vanthoor and Gabi Chavez. Brilliant onboard shots here. And as you can see, when you've got some understeer, it's very easy to lose some places. So on board with the number 9 car of Andreas Jochimsen then, currently running in P5, but chasing down Dries Vanthoor here. He really wants this P4. Beeler P3 now, as Josh Purvine at last has been able to get by Frank Beeler, but Frank Beeler is fighting back.
Still leading, man.
It's crazy. The gap is getting bigger.
We're so...
You are a true talent.
We are so tongue-in-cheek with Robin, and you know we don't mean it. Robin Frijns leading from Josh Purvine. Let's stay on board with Andreas Jochimsen here. Whoa, a little love tap on the back of Dries Vanthoor as this fight for P4 continues with Frank Beeler ahead of both of them. There's Frank Beeler, who's running in P3.
Upside down. I'm upside down.
And doing a very good job in defending that P3 position.
Oh, I missed you by like a millimeter.
All sorts of strife going on behind.
I got no gearbox. Do these cars have gearboxes? Because I don't have gears.
Cars on the roof. 2 gears, to be fair.
Are you off the roof? I'm off the roof, but got no gears.
So cars on the roof and
Unlucky.
Then no gears as well. A slight disadvantage, I guess. So...
That was going well.
Robin Frijns, and look at them, 3 abreast through this tunnel. Surely that is not going to work. But I tell you what, Beeler is under pressure. He's already been passed by Andreas Jochimsen, so it's now Andreas Jochimsen, P3, and Dries Vanthoor's trying to have a go as well. There is Frank Beeler in the Euronics liveried car, being chased by the WRT driver, Dries Vanthoor. It's the fight now for P5, and Dries Vanthoor means business. But, of course, he has got Frank Beeler ahead of him. This is our race leader, Robin Frijns. He's out by a country mile. Now, let's go on board the Frank Beeler car. Where is Dries Vanthoor? There is Dries Vanthoor like a bullet. He goes through and almost uses the Armco literally just as a barrier to hold the car onto the tarmac. But it worked. In the meantime, Josh Purvine fancies P2 and is trying to wrestle that away from Andreas Jochimsen as once again Frank Beeler puts himself ahead of Dries Vanthoor, and Mickey Hoyer and Schmidt are having a battle as well. But here comes Josh Purvine then, as Dries Vanthoor once again puts himself ahead of Frank Beeler, and Frank Beeler all over the track. And then Schmidt and Hoyer behind, and Frank Beeler rattling into the Armco, as did the 2 cars behind. And Robin Frijns is just rubbing his hands with invisible soap because he's not part of any of this action that is going on. He's up the road, of course, in P1, and it is Andreas Jochimsen still ahead of Josh Purvine. So Robin Frijns then heads towards the line and is going to be victorious in this level 2 last chance race. Great driving from Robin Frijns. The local driver done good and donuts to celebrate. Robin Frijns through to level 3, as is Andreas Jochimsen, Josh Purvine, Dries Vanthoor, Frank Beeler and Thomas Schmidt. The results from the level 2 last chance race, and what a race that was.
Now, we were very lucky because, of course, we spoke to Beitske Visser at the beginning of the show. She's the only female driver in World EX at the moment. At the moment, she is competing in the W Series and the World Endurance Championship. She's also very heavily involved in esports racing. But now let's find out a bit more about Beitske Visser.
Beitske Visser, an official BMW Works driver, became the first woman to compete in World EX. The Dutch driver is renowned for being quick on any racetrack in both the real and virtual worlds. Young Beitske was introduced to motorsport at a very young age by her father, who was racing himself. When she was just 3 years old, her father took her to a kart race where the young girl immediately set her sights on karting.
My dad used to do a little bit of racing, so I got my first go-kart when I was 5, and that's how I started.
After starting her karting career in 2007, her talent quickly showed with her climbing through the ranks, joining young driver programs like the Red Bull Junior team and the BMW Junior Driver program. Even at her very young age, she had already ticked a lot of boxes in her racing career, competing in GT cars, single-seaters and LMP2 machinery, winning various races and becoming the runner-up in the 2019 W Series. Beitske is also no stranger to electric racing. Already in 2017, she got her first taste of an electric race car when she helped developing an electric open-wheeler with the Eindhoven University of Technology.
I did a couple tests with them to work on the car, and then we did an attempt to break the record, which we managed to do.
In 2018, she jumped into the Formula E car for the first time while testing with the BMW I Andretti Formula E team. This is Level 3. And here comes the first of our quarterfinals. Gordon Much and Beitske Visser lock out the front row, P1 and P2. And they're going to be chased by Lasse Sorensen and Bruno Senna from row 2. On row 3, Patrick Niederhauser and Robin Frijns. And on row 4 of the grid, it's Dries van Tor and Frank Bieler. Quarterfinal, Maastricht, the RCCO World EX Championship. All eyes on the lighting gantry. Oh, a long while held before the lights went out. Beitske Visser immediately putting her nose just ahead of Gordon Much then. Much fights back though, and Lasse Sorensen already meaning business and puts himself into that P2 place, trying to go around the outside of Gordon Much. Beitske Visser down to P4 and Bruno Senna looking very lively. We're on board with Frank Bieler, who's chasing Beitske Visser now. Almost 3 abreast behind with Dries van Tor, Robin Frijns and Patrick Niederhauser. But what a fight at the front with Lasse Sorensen and Gordon Much. So Lasse Sorensen currently leading from Much. Then it's Visser ahead of Bieler, Senna, Frijns, van Tor and Patrick Niederhauser. All 8 of the cars in this battle where Bieler leaves the door open to Bruno Senna potentially. I think there was contact between the two of them and Bieler is sideways trying to drift and control the car as Bruno Senna has gone through to pick up that P4 place. So the order is Sorensen, Much, Visser, then Bruno Senna ahead of Robin Frijns, Dries van Tor, Patrick Niederhauser and Frank Bieler right at the back of the pack now. Now, Gordon Much just looking at the back end of Sorensen, but of course he does not want to leave himself vulnerable to a potential overtake from Beitske Visser or indeed Bruno Senna, as the first 4 tend to break away from the rest of the pack. So Lasse Sorensen then with this 3-way train of cars behind him, a 4-way fight almost for P1 that's going on as Robin Frijns is trying to get involved in the battle as well and try and close down the gap between P5 and P4. So here comes Much then, and he goes past Lasse Sorensen. It's a change for the lead, but Sorensen fights back now. Gordon Much and Lasse Sorensen through the chicane. They clatter the barriers. And Gordon Much is leading Lasse Sorensen, and Beitske Visser is also trying to get involved in this, but of course she has Bruno Senna for company. We're on board with Beitske Visser now and trying to get the slipstream off the back of the Lasse Sorensen car. Beitske Visser goes to the right. Lasse Sorensen, though, puts the car in the middle of the track, and there is Gordon Moch. Beitske Visser, what a move if this works. So slows the car, has the inside line. Brilliant driving from Beitske Visser, now finding herself in P2 and chasing down Gordon Moch. And with the slipstream effect through the tunnel here, Beitske Visser goes for and gets the lead of the race. Brilliant driving. Bruno Senna moves himself up to P3. And Gordon Moch dropping down the order now is P4. It's Visser from Sorensen from Senna, the top three. And Beitske Visser and Lasse Sorensen involved in this battle for the lead of this quarterfinal now. Beitske Visser, BMW junior driver, of course, up against Lasse Sorensen, who has been so successful in the RCCO World EX Championship. Beitske Visser returning to this brilliant racing series. And here comes Lasse Sorensen versus Beitske Visser, side by side. Mike, I bet you wish you were in this race. It is exceptional racing.
The race in the front is unbelievable, guys.
You're not kidding.
Oh.
So Sorensen from Visser, then it's Senna, Much, Vantor, Niederhauser, Bieler, and now Robin Frijns right at the back of the pack. Oh, goodness me. So Lasse Sorensen now has got something of a lead over Beitske Visser, but Beitske will not be done with this. Lasse is not going to have an easy run to the line. On board once again with the number 89 car of Beitske Visser, chasing down Lasse Sorensen. And can she get close enough? Certainly going to have a go, but I think Lasse Sorensen has done enough. Beitske Visser now several car lengths down on Lasse Sorensen. I'm loving these onboard shots. The top 6 of these drivers will go through to level 4 semi-final. And confirmation of those drivers going through: Lasse Sorensen, Beitske Visser, Bruno Senna, Gordon Moch, Dries Vantor, Patrick Niederhauser, and regrettably we lose Frank Bieler and Robin Frijns. The grid for quarterfinal 2 then, with Alain Terzic and Risto Capet on row 1 of the grid. On row 2 we find Liam de Waal and Fabrice Cornelis. From row 3, it's Luca Keita and Andreas Jochimsen. And on the 4th row of the grid, we find Josh Purvine and Thomas Schmidt. We are ready for quarterfinal 2.
Here we go.
All lights out, let's go racing. Level 3 quarterfinal then is underway. Risto Capet just gets his nose ahead of Alain Terzic.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I didn't watch on the right, Josh.
As Josh Purvine into the wall then, he'll be at the back of the pack now. On board with Luca Keita and contact with Liam de Waal.
With suspension damage, F.
Yeah, I think.
They continue to fight between Alain Terzic and Risto Capet, and waiting to pick up the pieces potentially is Andreas Jochimsen. So Capet with his nose in front from Terzic, now P2. Then it is Andreas Jochimsen, Liam de Waal and Luca Keita. Liam de Waal puts himself ahead of Andreas Jochimsen. Risto Capet leading from Terzic. Then the whole gaggle of cars behind, all jostling and fighting over these places. So Risto Capet leading. But Alain Terzic is certainly keeping him keen. But of course, de Waal is in the mix as well and trying to get by Terzic.
I'm lucky that I'm still facing the right way.
Great fight going on at the front here, and here comes Alain Terzic, tracking Risto Capet now, puts himself alongside the long, sweeping and never-ending right-hander now, with Alain Terzic ahead of Risto Capet. Then it's Liam de Waal and Luca Keita. Andreas Jochimsen, who's just been passed by Fabrice Cornelis. And Risto Capet, you've got Liam de Waal right behind you.
Let's escape from this crazy Liam guy.
No, come back.
So Terzic, Capet, de Waal, Luca Keita and Fabrice Cornelis then. And Risto Capet and Alain Terzic, not for the first time, go side by side. And now it is Liam de Waal who just wants this fight to continue between the two of them. Because he wants to muscle his way through wherever he can. And the more they fight, of course, the bigger the opportunity potentially for Liam de Waal. But at the moment, Capet and Terzic are spending so much time side by side, it doesn't really give the opportunity to Liam de Waal to go through and to try and wrestle away P2 or even P1. So the quarterfinal then is being led by Risto Capet from Alain Terzic and Liam de Waal. But here comes Terzic then, getting the benefit of the slipstream once again. And de Waal almost able to get the better of Risto Capet, but not quite. Into the tunnel. Another slipstream opportunity, maybe benefiting Liam de Waal this time, although he's not as close. As Capet goes once again alongside Alain Terzic, and Capet puts himself ahead. Here comes Liam de Waal now, though, as Luca Keita and Fabrice Cornelis are having a good battle behind also. They're contesting that P4 place currently. So Capet now leading Terzic. It's been seesawing between the two of them for the entire duration of this quarterfinal. And Terzic is certainly not done with this. So we were on board with Terzic then, chasing down Risto Capet. Both of them breaking away from Liam de Waal. Here he comes then, and
I see.
Good defending from Risto Capet then, trying to hold the number 27 car of Alain Terzic at bay. Capet running just a bit wide, but then back onto the inside line, denying Terzic the opportunity to go through on that right-hander. And Liam de Waal now has Luca Keita for company. So a four-way fight now for the front of this race. And not so far away from Fabrice Cornelis either, who is currently running in P5. So, side by side go Terzic and Capet again. And Capet now, and here comes Liam de Waal. Is this the real opportunity for Liam de Waal, who's being propelled still further by the pressure he's under from Luca Keita? This truly is a compelling quarter-final race that we're enjoying from the World EX Championship.
Good race. I was lucky you got the
Good
race
race.
there.
Yeah, I had really bad FPS in that race for some reason.
So those that are going through are Risto Capet, Alain Terzic, Liam de Waal, Luca Keita, Fabrice Cornelis and Thomas Schmidt, and we lose Josh Purvine and Andreas Jochimsen.
Once again, we are treated to so much action as usual in World EX. But before we do continue with the next level, level 4, we wanted to introduce you to one of the leading teams of the series. Now, they've got 1 victory and 1 second place under their belt, which means that they are second in the team's World Championship at the moment. They're actually quite a young team, but despite that, they have already left their mark on esports racing, and it's not only because of their very special zebra liveries. Let's take a look.
BS Plus Competition was victorious in the 3rd round of World EX at the Sepang International Circuit. The esports team was founded by Bureau Sud Plus from Munich, Germany. Already in 2019, they began preparing their own esports team. No more than 9 months later, the wait was over. BS Plus Competition contested its first sim racing event, the BMW Sim 120 Cup in Sebring. As one of the official BMW Motorsport partners in esports racing, BS Plus Competition became one of the most professional and successful teams in the virtual world of esports racing in its very first season.
The competition is the spirit of our team. We are striving for having good competitors, good fights on the track, and always good fun when it comes to sim racing.
The team won prestigious races like the iRacing 24-hour Nürburgring powered by VCO in 2020. And they are also one of the dominant teams in the digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. Because the team always strives to do things a bit differently, the decision to join World EX was an easy one.
World EX and BS Plus Competition is a good merge, and I think with all the people involved from sim racing but also from the real world racing, I think we can put up a great new innovative program of sim racing, and I hope everybody watching the shows is enjoying it.
It continues with Level 4, the semi-final. 6 fine drivers in this semi-final. Lasse Sorensen, Beitske, Visser are on row 1 of the grid. On row 2, it's Bruno Senna and Gordon Mutch. And then going from row 3 on the grid, it's Dries Vanthoor and Patrick Niederhauser. This has got all the makings of a good one. Lights are out and we are away and racing on board with Lasse Sorensen as you head first downhill, then slightly uphill. There's a kink to the right-hand side. And Senna and Visser are in the mix as well as we go 3, nearly 4 abreast into turn number 1. 3 cars surely almost don't fit into the tunnel we go now. This Maastricht street circuit really has proved to be exceptional in this World EX Championship. Absolutely loving it. Lasse Sorensen under real pressure from Bruno Senna and also Beitske Visser. And Beitske Visser in P2. Lasse Sorensen still with his nose just in front as they head out of the tunnel now.
Sorry, Beitske hit me and I lost it. Sorry.
No.
Oh.
All sorts of strife then in the early stages, and the big beneficiary from Scotland, Gordon Much, who has come through to pick up the lead. You could see there Bruno Senna and Beitske Visser panel rubbing. Lasse Sorensen in all sorts of trouble. Lasse Sorensen
I'm out.
on his roof. Early stages are something akin to a stock car race.
I feel like I'm driving a Ford C-Max or something.
My steering is like fully to the right. Oh man, it's so hard to drive like this.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was thinking the first race after I tried to send it around the outside of Beitske.
Yeah, but you're doing it right now, Gordon.
Yeah, I can't drive anymore as well. I'm also out. Sorry.
Bruno Senna in his Ford C-Max? I think not. So Gordon Much then, who has got something of a lead over the Bruno Senna car running in P2. Beitske Visser then running in P3. Lasse Sorensen somehow has managed to get the car back on the wheels again and is running in P4 ahead of Dries Vanthoor and Patrick Niederhauser. So Gordon Much then from Lockerbie in Scotland, really rather out on his own. But here comes Bruno Senna. Oh, and Gordon just clatters into the Armco. And that will have allowed Senna to get a bit closer on board with Lasse Sorensen then, who unbelievably is still running in that P4 position. Keep on going, Lasse.
Do you know what happened there, Beitske? Tried to watch the replay. Was just a small touch, right?
I think we were side by side and it got pretty tight.
Yeah. And then it was a chain reaction.
Chain reaction and racing incident.
It is tight here.
It is, but it's all the more compelling for it, to be honest. The racing that we have seen in this RCCO World EX Championship round has been utterly compelling. Gordon Much then, with not too much to worry about. We can see Lasse Sorensen having a fight here with Beitske Visser, not for the first time. And Bruno Senna seemingly coping quite well.
Coming for you now, Bruno.
I'm P2, but lucky that there's nobody else behind me because I'm like probably gonna lap 3 seconds lower.
Just watch out, my Ford C-Max doesn't have any brakes, so...
I can't see you in the mirror, so I don't think a lunge is gonna happen now. Unless you're doing some more riding.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh. Man, I have no steering at all.
We have seen absolutely everything in this race as Gordon Much continues to lead. Cars on the roofs, riding the barriers.
Lasse, you're still going?
Yeah, I'm still
You're upside down. How the hell are you still going?
I don't know, it's crazy, man.
Lasse Sorensen taking advantage of the recovery team.
Marshall's around here must be proper fast to get you back running.
Not only fast.
Yeah, I mean, they're quite strong, Marshall.
Yeah, very
strong.
A very good point being made there.
So who's leading?
It's
I am.
Gordon Much from the RAG esports team.
Good times. This time we're not hitting each other.
So the semi-final race of attrition nears its end then. And on board with Lasse Sorensen.
Oh man, my best lap was a 209.8.
Mine was 211.2.
And of course, Beitske Visser trying to get ahead of Lasse Sorensen to go through. There is now just the slip road onto the main carriageway. before the start-finish line, where Gordon Much is victorious for R8G Esports. And the semi-finalists going through to level 5 are Gordon Much, Bruno Senna and Lasse Sorensen. We lose Beitske, Visser, Dries Van Tor and Patrick Niederhauser. Here comes semi-final 2 with Risto Capet and Alain Terzic on the front row of the grid, with Liam de Waal and Luca Kita going from P3 and P4. And from P5 and P6, it's Fabrice Cornelis up against Thomas Schmidt. That completes the grid for semi-final 2. We are away and racing on board with Risto Capet then, Alan Terzic.
How come I always have better starts than you, Alan? Are you sandbagging on purpose?
Yeah, quicker on the throttle, friend.
I'm a bit busy, sorry.
So Capet, de Waal, Cornelis, Terzic, all the way back to P4 now, and Luca Kita.
Now I'm gonna get mugged.
Is running in P4, was P5.
I'm not in a hurry.
Liam de Waal, the new leader of the race.
Psych.
Yeah.
Here comes Risto Capet, we're on board with him now, trying to get past Liam de Waal for the lead of this.
You're a madman.
All the way, and Risto Capet now with Alan Terzic fighting back and Liam de Waal in the mix as well. 3-4-way fight for P1 in this level 4 semi-final. Absolutely brilliant stuff. All cars very close together, exploring every single centimetre of tarmac of this Maastricht street circuit. Risto Capet, P1.
You have some balls, Alan.
Alan certainly is prepared to have a go.
Time to show my balls. Never mind.
Great camaraderie and great banter between all of our drivers, as here comes Alan Terzic now to the inside of Risto Capet. Slam dunk, and Liam de Waal trying to take advantage as well, because Liam de Waal has got the inside line around this sweeping right-hand turn. Terzic leads.
How did we not touch?
Well,
this is
instinct.
This is fun.
True.
You are not kidding. Fun with a capital F. Terzic leading from Risto Capet, P2.
I'm not gonna go for it.
And Liam de Waal is a P3, but it can go any way yet. Looking back at the Risto Capet car, being on board with Alain Terzic.
I did a Leclerc.
Terzic now trying to stretch his legs and gets a couple of car lengths over Risto Capet, who seems to be backing everyone else up, including Liam de Waal and Fabrice Cornelis, and also Schmidt and Kita. That's the way it runs at the moment in this semi-final.
Let's just keep it clean. This was fun so far.
Yeah, what's the gap behind Liam?
A 10th. Or, yeah, a 10th.
It is absolutely a fraught fight, but very clean and tidy in this semi-final. Oh, just a little bit of understeer from Risto Capet then as he tries to get on terms with Alan Terzic, who is leading, and Fabrice Cornelis ahead of Liam de Waal now. So P1, Alan Terzic, P2, Risto Capet, and then it's Cornelis, de Waal, Schmidt and Kita. That's the way it looks at the moment, but it can change in a heartbeat. On board with the number 29 car of Liam de Waal, who is currently running in P4, looking for one of the podium places, if at all possible. And Cornelis now up to P2. Cornelis looking really, really brave, and here comes Liam. The race order is being shuffled like a pack of cards. So staying on board with the Liam de Waal car, who is now P4. It's Risto Capet from Alain Terzic and Fabrice Cornelis, who is running in P3, but he's under threat now from Liam de Waal as they head into this right-hander. De Waal on the outside of Cornelis, and that wasn't the place to be, so Cornelis is able to hold on for that P3 place at the moment, and Risto Capet knows the threat of Alain Terzic is not far behind as 2 or 3 of the cars rattle into the Armco. Oh, brilliant move here from Liam de Waal if it comes off. Into the tunnel we go. We're on board with Liam de Waal. To the left-hand side is Fabrice Cornelis. Oh, and trying to hold on to this. Again, clattering into the wall. Brilliant driving from all of our drivers, and the one that's having probably the happiest time of all is Risto Capit out front, who can just focus on the track ahead.
Oh no. Oh, sorry.
That's not me, man.
No.
It had been such a clean fight up until
It wasn't me, Riz.
that particular point.
Why do people always think it's me?
Holy shit.
Alan Terzic at the back, forgive the colourful language.
Oh no.
Sorry, Alan. I'm so sorry, man.
That was really unfortunate.
Almost clean race, almost.
Third race, I get taken out, honestly.
So it was fun and almost clean, and Risto Capit and Liam DeVall and Luca Kita go through. Regrettably, we lose Thomas Schmidt, Fabrice Cornelis and Alan Terzic.
Well, the races are just flying by right now, but the good news is we've still got 2 levels left in the E-Prix of the Netherlands in Maastricht. Level 5, which of course is the final, and then level 6, the super final, the all-decisive one-lap shootout where it gets incredibly intense, that's for sure. But not only will our drivers want to reach the next level, of course, but there's a lot happening in the world of mobility, which is getting greener and greener. So we wanted to take the chance to update you on everything that's been going on before we head into those finals.
One of the most iconic rally cars ever is transformed into an electric car. French rallycross driver and entrepreneur Guerlain Chicherit is building a limited edition of 36 Lancia Delta Integrale Evo E. Its electric engine produces 200 horsepower. The 30 kilowatt-hour battery will allow a range of about 160 kilometers. Another legendary car could also return with electric power. Opel has unveiled the Manta GSE Electro Mod, a modern version of the legendary Opel Manta. The concept car has 147 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and caused a stir in Germany last week. Opel remains coy on the potential of this concept car becoming a reality. The DTM is working on an electrical future too, but this will still take a while. This year, another innovation is coming to the racing series, thanks to Schaeffler Paravan. 3 DTM cars from Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz are equipped with the revolutionary Space Drive-by-Wire steering system. One will be driven by Sophia Flörsch, teammate of World EX co-founder Mike Rockenfeller at AB Sportsline. Lamborghini has announced it will electrify its entire lineup by the end of 2024. The sports car brand from Italy will start with plug-in hybrids, but has also announced it will develop its first fully electric model. Audi is developing high-power charging hubs, which will use second life batteries and offer a lounge area for coffee breaks on the second floor. Audi is starting a pilot project later this year. In the US, Ford finally unveiled their long-expected fully electric version of the popular pickup F-150, which will arrive on the market in early 2022. Let's move on to Level 5, the final. This is the final. Only 2 drivers will make it through to the super final. Gordon Much and Risto Capit are on the first row of the grid. On the second row, P3 and P4, it's Bruno Senna and Liam DeVall. And then on row 3 of the grid, we find Lasse Sorensen and Luca Kita. Therefore, the grid is set. On the Maastricht street circuit, we are go! Capit, Much, DeVall, Senna, Sorensen, Kita. So this long stretch then before turn number 1, the right-hander.
Yeah, go for it.
So Much leading Capit. Then it's Liam DeVall and Luca Kita ahead of...
It's the teammates working together.
Turbo boost.
Senna and Sorensen.
I can't see where I'm going though.
It's alright, just stick to the lane.
Through the tunnel, we're on board with Liam DeVall then, chasing down Risto Capit and Gordon Much.
Letting off.
So Much and Capit, P1 and P2, being chased hard by Liam DeVall and Luca Kita, also trying to get into the mix, as well as Bruno Senna and Lasse Sorensen. Back on board we go, with Liam DeVall then, holding on to that car around that left-hander. And he can see the 2 ahead of him. And now, can he get to the inside? Has he got the ability to do so? Bit of understeer. Holds onto the car though and continues. As you can see, the back end of the Risto Capit car stepping out just a little bit there, playing into the hands maybe of Liam DeVol, who gets a bit closer.
I'm not gonna pat.
Three-way fight for P1 at the moment. Oh!
Sorry, man.
Holy crap.
Oh,
I'm already upside down.
Is it last again?
I can help you, man. Maybe I can help you here.
Well, forgive the language.
I can get you down, man.
Oh, thank you. Let's go.
You have no reaping. Shit. It's totally my fault, sorry, man.
Oh, yeah, I have no control. Okay, I'm gonna get out.
I'm gonna go out as well.
Well, Lasse Sorensen and Bruno Senna then up on the side of their cars.
Ah, damn it.
Hey, what did you take? Because I was on the limit.
And...
Oh, man. Let's keep watching these guys then.
Furthermore, no marshals needed because Lasse Sorensen did a good job of putting the inverted Bruno Senna car back on all four wheels. Whilst all that was going on, here is...
Jordi, I think you have no competition now. The pro drivers are out, I think.
The lead of the race is with Gordon Murch.
No one.
Okay, copy.
Ahead of Risto Capit and this man that we're on board with now, Liam DeVol, who moves into P2. A brilliant overtake.
Yeah. I think Gordy's is looking good.
Right line.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah, be right.
Okay.
This four-way fight for P1 that is going on. DeVol currently leading Murch. Then it is Capit now in P3 ahead of Luca Kita, but it can all change in just a heartbeat.
It feels fun. It is. Yeah.
So Liam DeVol, Gordon Murch, Risto Capit, and Luca Kita.
Whoa.
And DeVol trying to escape up the road now. Builds a couple of car lengths of comfort margin between him and P2.
Get him. I'll push you.
Oh!
And of course, only two drivers can make it through to the super final, the one-lap shootout as they head towards...
That is not cool.
That was my fault.
Head towards the right-hander contact, but they are all still in contention for this.
It's just fucked.
Just two places.
Same.
Up for grabs in this super final.
I mean...
And at this moment, you wouldn't bet on who the two drivers going through would be. We are on board the number 10 car of Risto Capit then.
How's this still going, man?
Currently running in P4 as Kita and DeVol and Murch
no!
continue their fight ahead and...
That's too much.
With contact and barriers, it's Gordon Murch, Risto Capit, Liam DeVol now P3, Luca Kita P4 with Senna and Sorensen out of it.
I mean, what happened in the replay?
So Gordon Murch then, as we're on board with Risto Capit,
My whole car was just...
disappears up the road.
Risto, you get P2? Yeah!
I got lucky, man. Yeah, I mean, at the back straight, the draft so much.
Yeah,
that was my fault, but
I try to give you the draft, but like he kind of covered it. I was gonna let you pass like onto that corner, like into this sort of like the roundabout bit, but then like you wanted to push it. It was the right call, and like I was just gonna send it around the outside. But yeah.
As we look at some of the amazing replays and listen to how the strategies could have played out, we know that Gordon Murch and Risto Capit for RAG Esports are in the super final. And we have lost Liam DeVol, Luca Kita, Lasse Sorensen and Bruno Senna. An all RAG Esports super final. It's all or nothing, the super final. Yes, just one race, just one lap, and just two drivers. And they are Gordon Murch and Risto Capit. The super final for the World EX Championship in Maastricht is about to get underway. A fairly evenly matched start. We can see Gordon Murch in shot.
Thank God I did the force feedback reset button. My force feedback wasn't working off the line.
And now the turn of Risto Capit. Back to Gordon once again. They are absolutely side by side. Quite a long run before we get to this turn one, which is the right-hander. You run slightly downhill and then into the tunnel, which of course presents a fantastic opportunity to Risto Capit to take advantage of the slipstream and put himself alongside and ahead of Gordon Much. The esports racer versus the pro racer here in Maastricht, both for the same team.
Uh-oh.
And here comes Gordon fighting back.
Oh man, that corner's so scary.
Well, you both execute around that corner perfectly well, so it is Risto Capit, the esports racer that's leading the pro driver Gordon Much at the moment in this one-lap shootout, the super final, the one-lap shootout to stardom, if you will, as Risto Capit knows that Gordon Much is going to take advantage of the slipstream opportunity that will be presented to him. We run on board with Gordon now, almost putting himself alongside Risto Capit, but not quite enough as they head into this turn. Carrying a lot of speed, but holding on to the car, Gordon Much leading.
We both know what happens next.
We both know.
You can see how hard he's holding on to that, but
your exit was way better than now.
as the drivers indicate,
Nah, you're so close enough, 100%.
they know
Let's see.
what's coming next, and that is another slipstream opportunity. So Gordon Much into the tunnel ahead, but here comes Risto Capit. But he is carrying a lot of speed. Gordon initially went through on the inside, then Risto fights back. So, very, very evenly matched, both of these drivers. One a pro driver, one an esports driver. There is nothing between them, but Risto Capit has got his nose in front for the moment.
Yes.
As they head towards the line, then, it is going to be Risto Capit that will be victorious.
Come on, no! Oh, what a
Close.
Wow, that was close at the end.
So close.
Yeah. And that wasn't even fabricated or anything.
No. Nice. Good job, man.
Good job,
Great
man.
driving, guys.
You could have, since there's no need to get a good lap time this time, you could have like backed off it and before the last straight. But
I was trying to just kind of hang it around the outside. I had so much speed on the way in. I just couldn't do that.
Yeah, I just dived right in.
Nice,
that
good
was
job,
cool. Great race.
Oh, huge congratulations there. That was seriously competitive, though. I mean, you've clearly met your match. You're very equally balanced there. But Risto, you just managed to have the edge.
Oh yeah, that was on the line. I mean, that's what we practiced, and we both kind of knew the outcome. But yeah, he played it nice to not play any games because we kind of knew that the one who goes in front for the last big straight will get overtaken. But yeah, there was still some room to outbreak each other. But yeah, it was really on the line, and man, that was great. That was a great race and great the greatest opponent.
How did you feel? Are you sort of buzzing with adrenaline now? Are you happy it's over?
Yeah, I mean, this racing here, it's always great fun. It's the way this competition like winds up. You get these 1v1s where you have to you do your one race and then you have to stay focused and you wait for your time. But then as the rounds progress and you progress the levels, the races become more frequent and more exciting. So yeah, if you could see my heart rate through this whole event, it's always rising a bit. So now it's buzzing. It always climaxes in the end. And yeah, the previous race was really, really tense. And now, of course, we knew that getting two RIG esports cars to the final is already a victory in itself. But yeah, to get this final race done, I mean, amazing. What an event.
Well done. Congratulations. And congratulations to the team as well. Absolutely phenomenal performance from the two of you for RIG Esports. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks to Jordi as well for pushing me. He pushed the pace, to be honest. He pushed me, and that's how we made it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What a fantastic super final that sees Risto Capit the winner, the first esports winner of a super final, just beating his teammate Gordon Much, both of them from RAG Esports. And here then the full classification from the Maastricht.
Well, we really hope you enjoyed today's show. What a brilliant end there. 2 teammates battling it out. Hopefully that will be a rivalry that develops over the course of the season. Before we do say goodbye, let's have a quick look at the overall results and standings for the Team and Drivers World Championship.
And here are the standings after the Maastricht EX Prix. Lasse Sorensen P1 and Risto Capit P2 in the Drivers' Championship. In the Teams' Championship, it's TK9 E-Speed P1 and R8G Esports P2.
And then that leaves me just to say, please do join us for our next race, round 5, as we'll be heading to the home country of the Williams driver, Bruno Senna. We'll be heading to Brazil. What a magnificent country. Absolutely love it. If only we could go there in person. But let's dream. Let's go there in the virtual world. Do join us. See you at the end of June. And until then, take care.